We have the video here, clip here at least of Brett Cooper.
But there was one person in America that did decide to speak out and condemn these Chinese lockdowns and their response to the protests. That was Fauci.
I want to begin by seeing insight you have on what's going on in China. They're seeing some protest, unrest over COVID lockdowns is the headline in the New York Times. Fear of quarantine camps is shutting down Beijing. What is going on in China, and why do they seem to be in a worse place than anyone else in the world?
I just need to stop really quickly because they pulled the camera out a little too far and I saw Fauci's feet dangling. Ugh. Talk about icks. Okay, never mind. We're going.
What? Okay.
Hang on.
That was just the weirdest point ever. That was nothing at all. His feet were dangling. Oh no.
Approach has been very, very severe and rather draconian in the kinds of shutdowns without a seeming purpose.
Without a seeming purpose? And what do you call what you did in this country? I would call a lot of that draconian. He is not even talking about the response to the protest. He is simply talking about the lockdowns.
That was what he was responding to the question. She also didn't play the whole clip.
Okay, never mind. We're going on.
Their approach has been very, very severe and rather draconian in the kinds of shutdowns without a seeming purpose.
You can tell that she cut the clip off because he didn't just, you can tell he was getting ready to say something else. So, I mean, she didn't even let him play. So we don't know. We don't know if he didn't respond to the protest or not because she didn't play the entire clip. But, you know, you have to do what you can to fit your narrative. You have to do it, whatever it is you possibly can to get people to believe your lies. So, you know, not playing the whole clip is a great way to do it.
Without a seeming purpose, and what do you call what you did in this country? I would call a lot of that draconian. He is not even talking.
Brett, question. Who was president when COVID started? It was Donald Trump, right? Was it Donald Trump? I think it was Donald Trump. I'm going to have to get Brett to research that for me to figure out who was president during the lockdowns in this country. Who was president during that? It was Donald Trump, right? Okay, yeah.
Talking about.
I was confused. I was confused there for a second.
The response to the protest. He is simply talking about the lockdowns. You praised them. You praised New Zealand for their zero COVID approach. You said this is what we need to be doing. You were upset at the American people for pushing back against that. You said that the Republicans were killing people because they didn't want to adopt a zero COVID policy. But now you're saying it's draconian and seemingly without purpose because it's advantageous for you to be on this side of history now? No, shut up. I do not buy it.
She is just saying things that she's drawing conclusions that do not match up with what was presented to us in that video at all. The right side of history now. China will lock. There was a one COVID case. This happened a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago. You can go and look this up. There was a one suspected. They didn't even know if it was confirmed. A one suspected case of COVID at Disneyland or World in China, whatever it is. I don't know what it's called there. And they locked the entire park down and did not let anybody leave. They weren't letting people leave because of one suspected COVID case. Nothing like that happened here. Nothing like that happened here. If she and all of these people are seriously trying to draw comparisons between what happened here and what's going on in China right now, that is, I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's stupid. If you think that, you're a fucking idiot. It's not even close. It's not even close. And what she is saying, Fauci said, it's like she just totally, it's like she just made up her own thing and said, that's what he said, when it's not. It's not.
One bit. Obviously, you were not successful at keeping widespread COVID fear and lockdowns going until 2023 here in this country, but that does not mean that you have stopped trying at all. Because he said this in that same interview.
Is this country ready for another pandemic? And are we still in the one we have not, that we've been talking about?
Well, we certainly are still in it. I think you just need to look at the numbers. We're still having between 300 and 400 deaths per day. So I think the idea that, forget it, this is over, it isn't. We have an updated vaccine booster that we want to do, but the uptake of that is less than 15%. It's somewhere between 11 and 15%. We've got to do better than that.
Yeah, because people are fed up with your bullshit. They don't want it. They don't want you. So you just said that China's lockdowns seemingly have no purpose. And yet, in this same interview, you're saying, oh no, we are still in a pandemic. There are still so many people. We need to do better. Which one is it? Are we through the pandemic? Is it done, like Biden said?
And this is something, I don't know if I've ever said it on camera explicitly like this, but this is something that I can't get behind on either side of the aisle. Conservatives, Democrats, Republicans, progressives, whatever you want to say, whatever you are, so many people now, and this is with almost everything, everyone is an absolutist. You have to either be all for something or you're completely against it. There's no in between, there's no exceptions, there's no anything except for all or nothing. And I don't agree with this ideology or mentality or whatever you want to call it. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's asinine. I think that it doesn't make sense for people to be like this when it comes to stuff like this, because there's always going to be, not always, I don't want to say always, but there's going to be exceptions. There's going to be times where something might not apply to somebody. I have a grandmother. She's quite old. She's getting ready to turn 70. Her doctors, multiple of her doctors, because she sees a lot of different doctors, she's not in great health at all. She was actually recommended by multiple of her doctors to not get the COVID vaccine, any form of it, at least for now, because she has an immunocompromised system, and they told her that it could actually have some adverse effects versus, it doing what it's supposed to do. And, everyone around her has gotten the vaccine. The people that live with her do. I have it. And she doesn't go out a ton anyway, and when she does, she wears a mask, but I'll never understand this. You have to be for it or you have to be against it. And if you are in between, then you're wrong. You're bad. You're whatever.
Or are we still in the middle of it, and are you still stoking fear porn? Nothing that he says is consistent. He has not been consistent since the beginning of COVID. I mean, go all the way back to his work in AIDS and all of that stuff. He's never been consistent. He has always been a little political goblin trying to get power, and I stand by that 100%. And on top of that, only a couple days prior to that interview, he was once again wavering on school closures as we go into 2023. I'm sorry, what?
Coming out of the holidays, should parents expect schools to shut down?
There's always the collateral issue. So you have to balance, and you do it in real time, depending upon the viral load of disease in your region.
I really don't think you've ever cared about balance and about weighing that decision, especially considering you shut down schools when children were not at risk at all. You kept them out of school, and now you're saying, it might happen again. I don't know. No, it's not going to happen again. It's not.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson?
Who was president again? Who was the president when these COVID lockdowns happened? Who was president? It was Donald Trump.
Old man.
I don't want Fauci or people like Fauci having any influence over my life whatsoever. And the fact that
That's too fucking bad. That's just too goddamn bad. I mean, when you're a doctor for as long as Fauci's been a doctor, 40, 45 plus years, however long, and you're the director of the National Institute of Health, that's just too goddamn bad. I mean, I'm sure that if, for some reason they had some cuckoo doctor in there and, he was super anti-vax, didn't give a fuck about any of this, didn't do any lockdowns, I'm sure that this rhetoric wouldn't be, I don't want him to have any control over me. I'm sure it wouldn't be like that at all. I'm sure it would be a very, very different message from this side.
Lunatics like him in government that make our laws, that make decisions for us, is horrifying. Like, did you guys know that?
No, it's really not. It might be horrifying for you, and that's too fucking bad.
But if you die without a will, the state gets to decide what happens to your asset, what happens to your estate. That is why you need Epic Will. Because imagine leaving...
Oh! Oh, nope, we're not watching anymore. I'm not gonna let her plug her fucking ad here. What the fuck? What a fucking... I should have known when she started saying some completely random off-topic shit. Oh, God. Well, that's it for the clip of Brett Cooper here today. So, if you like this video, hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button that's over there, and hit that little bell so you never miss an upload.